before we do that, we love doing top fives in this podcast. I'm going to give you my top five favorite group. Not some of the best groups, but my favorite groups in hip hop history. Number 5, Public Enemy for me. Public Enemy, of course, a legacy play here. Flavor Flav, Chuck D. You can argue one of the most important groups in the history of the genre, both politically and culturally. Number 4, A Tribe Called Quest. Which, by the way, I just listened to the latest album. First time in a long time. That came out in 2016. Earlier today, I was doing something for my wife. I went to the car out a little bit, and I played the record in the car. God, it sounds great. But Tribe Called Quest is talking about melody and just their vibe. They sound very original. No one sounds like them necessarily, or the groups tried to sound like them, but they're amazing. Number 3, Wu-Tang Clan. Again, a group that spawned up so many amazing careers in the genre. Method Man, Raekwon, Genius, ODB, you name it. And these guys are huge. I mean, talking about like mid 90s. I remember going to middle school and high school, and I mean, you couldn't go anywhere with people talking about and really discussing Wu-Tang and their greatness and all that, and the cultural significance of the genre. 2, Outkast, arguably the greatest group of all time. Very original, Big Boy, Andre 3000, 2 guys that brought different styles to the genre. And again, what made them amazing too, also Outkast, the fact that you had they came out in an era where Tupac and Biggie dominated, and all these groups, all these East-West, battles and all that. And yet these guys down in Atlanta carved a niche of their own and just end up becoming what I believe is the arguably the greatest group of all time in the genre. And I think Outkast, they haven't done anything in a number of years. I think 20 years is the last album they put out. Speakerbox, the Double O Speakerbox record, double album. They when you talk about originality, you talk about this authentic and just believing in their vision and what they do musically, culturally, fashion wise, you name it. There's no one better, really, honestly. And number 1 for me, personal favorite groups of all time, The Roots. You guys know I'm a huge Questlove fan. Questlove, of course, the drummer. The Roots are also on the Jimmy Fallon show. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon, and if I did watch Jimmy Fallon, it's mainly to watch The Roots play. This is a group that doesn't get enough mainstream love, even though they're on Jimmy Fallon and all these kind of stuff. Even though they've had a couple of hits here and there, they never felt like a tippy top all-time great group, because you still have the Jay-Z's and you have all these other, the Outkast, for example, and Wu-Tang and whatnot. And then even like other artists, like Biggie and DMX, that always seem to have the top spots. That the Roots had their place, but it was never, never got the ultimate mainstream success. Obviously, I think what's helped their legacy in the last 20 years is being on Jimmy Fallon and doing that show. And obviously the credibility of them being an actual band, and that's why I love them too, also as a musician myself. The fact that they play music, the fact that they actually play as a group, real instruments and whatnot. That to me has always been what's kind of kept them, to me, more like my favorite groups of all time. This is why they're my favorite groups of all time, because they to me, I like seeing artists that actually play their own instruments and write their own material and all that kind of stuff. And The Roots to me was always that one. So again, 5, Public Enemy. 4, Tribe Called Quest. 3, Wu-Tang Clan. 2, Outkast. Number 1, favorite hip hop group of all time, The Roots. So